Lights have just been officially switched on by the Mayor of Worcester. Over 90 trees in the Shears Festival.
My name's Tony Pearce and I'm the chair of the Britain-Palestine Friendship and Twinning Network. I chair the meetings of the committee and also the annual meeting and conference which is coming up shortly. Well, I don't think there's a better way of creating understanding of life in communities than having a twinning arrangement. It's a human way, bringing it down to a human level if you like. And so having that arrangement enables people in this country to learn more about what life is really like, often from people who live there, who come over and speak in the locality here about what is happening in Palestine, but also for people here to show solidarity and often to fund projects over there within that community and become closely linked with the life over there. And in that way, some of the worst aspects can perhaps be ameliorated a little, and people in Palestine know that we're supporting them.
Absolutely fantastic. It's a real way of bringing communities together and getting the community of Tower Hamlets to understand what's going on in Palestine. And the cultural expressions are hugely important. So getting people to understand each other's cultures and also understanding, of course, the absolute universal humanity that resides below within each of our cultures. So tonight we've heard some really important stories about the attachment of the Palestinians to their land, about their food, about their culture, about the olive groves and the olive harvests. And those things are really important to everybody, really, the attachments to their land. And I think Tower Hamlets has a really strong history as well of welcoming different communities to it over the years. I work in this borough, and we work with, in the community centre that I work in, with any number of communities who come to live in this borough, and getting people to understand their cultures and the commonness between us is the most important thing.
So we're both teachers, and we were in Palestine in October of this year, and I actually went to Jenin for the first time, so it's really, really interesting seeing some of the pictures, some of the things that we saw, so it's really, really interesting.
And what did you think of the art, the pictures on the wall?
Yeah, I mean, they're brilliant. I love his kind of, I just love his little techniques, and it's very eye-catching and very unique to him, so it's really good. Really glad we made it.
Yeah, and I think what really stands out for me are the people in the pictures, because Zainab and I were just talking about the fact that actually when you visit Palestine, it's meeting the people and hearing their stories that really brings the situation to life for you. And I think some of the pictures have really captured the people that have been met and have made me think about the stories that might be behind those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
The twinning started in 1980 when two Dundee councillors met Bassem Shakar, who was then the mayor of Nablus, and he'd lost both his legs when his car was booby-trapped in Nablus. And so he came to London for treatment, they met him, and they agreed to form a twinning. And at the time it was the first, well it still is, the first twinning between a British or European city and a city in the West Bank. So it was quite an important twinning. And twinning, I think, is something you should do with people you don't understand. It started after the war when people were scared of people from other nations, the idea of twinning was to build bridges, to build friendship, to build understanding between people, because basically we are all human beings and we all need to get on in this world. So twinning is an important way of trying to bring people together to build that friendship and understanding. And so that's our role here, to try and help people to understand people in Nablus who live very different lives from the people here. So what makes twinning unique with Nablus? There are many people now twinned with Nablus. As I said, Dundee was the first, and we like to think of it as a significant step to help people to get together and to live towards a more peaceful, a more just and a more safe and inclusive world for all of us.
I was born actually the same date Israel was born, roughly. And my parents lost their homes when Israel existed, because I was born in a town called Al Muzera, which is about 25 kilometers from Jaffa, east of Jaffa. What brought me to Dundee? I'm familiar with Dundee since I was in Durham. When we used to come every summer, we used to spend 2 months from Qatar. We used to come to Britain, spend 2 months here. And my wife's family is from a town near Dundee, so that's why we are in Dundee. So I was dragged in. Yeah, but I really enjoy Dundee because it's a nice, quiet city. I don't feel I'm a person of a country boy. I always call myself a country boy. I don't like crowded cities. I like smaller cities so people can interact and look at each other rather than just rush without even giving a damn look at anyone else. And so from this point of view, I guess I like Dundee very much.
I think often when you say you're going to twin or link, we all want something back. And for us in the church particularly, it's not been about, or we've encouraged it not to be about, wanting something back. When we started off, we said, we can't write letters. It's not easy. But what we can do is learn from people. So that's why we have this group that meets every month, because we study using various information and books and guides, but we also go to exhibitions, we go to talks, so we're trying to learn more. But we also know that if we hold people in our prayers, thoughts, however you want to frame it, that is part of what the link is about. It's about being present, and it's like any friendship, it just is about standing alongside. And it's a privilege to stand alongside people who are actually more challenged perhaps by the gospel and how to live it in their environment than we are, although of course we have different challenges here and tests about how we live in this age. To be the sort of people who would speak up for justice, ask questions, be doubtful, but to know that love is the only way.
There are all sorts of ways in which you can get involved. If for today, yes, it was people who are involved in different choirs in Liverpool. There's people there from the Liverpool Socialist Singers, from the cantata choir of the Catholic Cathedral, from the Welsh Choral Union, from the Welsh Church, and there are simply friends or people who are on our mailing list but are not normally active in Palestine. I mean, are not part of the core group, for example. But they love singing, and we have fun singing. We really enjoy the singing, and we sing it with gusto and with conviction, because these are words that we as supporters and sympathisers of Palestine can identify with, whatever religion we are. They are not religious words, actually, they're political words. and they bring us down to earth with what is going on right now in Palestine. So there are people who love our craft, for example, and who love to have their purse round their neck or their bag down their shoulder, so that people say, gosh, you've got a beautiful and unusual bag. What is it? Where do you get it from? These are all different ways in which you can talk to people, as well as being just a conventional activist, writing letters, making appointments to see MPs. We can all do that. We can all go and see our MP if we can all read. We can all watch films. People have really related to the exhibition, even if they haven't known much about Palestine. People relate to photographs of children, of old people, of parents, and they're all here in the exhibition.
I was told that there are more active groups in Liverpool, particularly Liverpool Friends of Palestine and Liverpool Friends of Bilin, and I went along to the meetings that they hold twice a month, and I was very interested in this link that Liverpool had with Bilin, and I didn't realise at the time, but there was a twinning network. The school, Holly Lodge School, girls' school in Liverpool, is twinned with a girls' school in Bilin, and I found this incredible. The fact that there are schools and institutions in Liverpool that are aware of a place called Palestine. You say Palestine and people automatically correct you and say, well, do you mean Israel? So it was great that people that you wouldn't necessarily believe or you think understand the situation in Israel and Palestine do so, and they're actively campaigning and standing in solidarity with Palestine. So yeah, I found that was brilliant, and then I was given the opportunity to accompany a teacher, Anne Edwards, to on her journey to her twinned school in Bilin, and I did that as a representative of the group, Liverpool Friends of Bilin, and just to lend our support to someone who is fairly new to the situation in Palestine but wanted to learn more, and to just encourage that curiosity, and to encourage and strengthen the twinning network between her school, where she's a teacher, and the girls' school in Bilin.
Everywhere we went, we were greeted with coffee and drinks and huge hospitality. I've never eaten so much in my entire life. Everywhere we went was literally, we were showered with food, with warmth. We couldn't have been any more welcome, really. It was lovely. The people were fantastic. I was shocked about how much the occupation has affected the children's day-to-day lives, from the minute they get up of a morning to get to school and having to go through checkpoints, and that impinging on their time. And then every single person that we met, without fail, had either somebody very close to them or themselves had spent time in prison, or had been arrested, or had experienced some sort of dawn raid, or whatever you like to call it. That was incredible. The fact that people, that was part of everyday life, and the schools were, in lots of ways, had similar issues to schools in Britain. There was lots of similar issues about low-level behaviour and students being bored, all that kind of stuff. They're normal, kids are kids, and that was quite clear in the West Bank. The difference was that the attitude towards education is just that little bit more geared around how important it is. Many people said, education is your best weapon, and lots of people believe that in order to get themselves out of occupation, that education was the way to go.
The one thing I would say to anyone who's planning or wishes to go to Palestine is to go. Book your flight and go. Whichever method you want to travel. I know different people prefer different ways, but however you want to do it, just go and talk to people. And I would encourage, once you're out there, to talk to both sides. And this, I was this piece of advice was given to me by a Palestinian friend who had met out there, and he encouraged me to talk to both Palestinians and Israelis. I was asked to meet up with an Israeli Orthodox Jew, and I was in two minds because I thought to myself, hold on, is this... for some reason I had a moral dilemma. Do I meet with this person? And I asked a Palestinian, it's like, what would you do? I was like, I would talk to them, because it's only through dialogue and it's only through them realising that we have nothing against them, and then us realising that they don't have anything against us. It's just ignorance that we can solve this conflict. And so yeah, I would say talk to both sides, because you can't win on just your ideas. You need everyone else on board.